Dear student, I have sent you the PDF of this particular story, so you must read it. After that, you will be more able to understand this story. So, in last video, I had started this story, but unfortunately, because of the net, didn't work properly yesterday. That's why I think you couldn't read or listen that video. So I started from start. I begin from start. A cup of tea, a Catherine Mansfield. This is story, and brief information about the author is given there. Catherine Mansfield, 1888-1923, is the pen name of prominent modernist writer of short fictions from New Zealand called Kathleen Mansfield Murray. Kathleen Mansfield Murray, it is the proper name, full name of Catherine Mansfield. You may be asked in the your multiple choice questions examination, so keep it in mind. Both born Kathleen Mansfield Beauchamp in 1888 into a specially prominent family in Wellington, New Zealand. She was the daughter of banker. She moved to London in 1903, where she attended King's College. She is considered one of the best short story writers of her period. She greatly admired the famous Russian playwright and short story writer Anton Chekhov. This is also the most important thing. She considered Anton Chekhov her, we can say, inspiration, and she was very much inspired by the writing skill of Anton Chekhov and incorporated some of his themes and techniques into her writing. She counted among her friends great writers like Virginia Woolf, D.H. Lawrence. These are also the most important novelists at that period, and she is counted among them. Both in her personality and writing, Mansfield is noted for her unconventionality and courage, and her statement, life and work are one thing indivisible, can be applied to her own turbulent life and exciting fiction. If we go through the lifetime or biography of Catherine Mansfield, we will come to know that she lead the life. She lead the turbulent life. Turbulence means very much ups and downs she has faced in her life. Still, she has written, or she has given us a lot of stories, exciting stories, short story as fiction. That's why this statement, life and work are one thing indivisible. It means if you want to live, you must work. If you are working, it means you are living. This is means in life, work is most important, and if there is no work, there could not be life. So this statement is very much applicable to the life of the author. So we turn to story. The following story is about Rosemary Fail. This is the main character in this particular story. A wealthy married woman who, as a narrator concede means accept, was not exactly beautiful. So why she was not exactly beautiful, we will discuss in stories. But according to narrator, that Rosemary was wealthy married woman. As the narrator considered, was not exactly beautiful. She moves among the rich and famous and can afford a luxurious life of the world. That's why she is very much wealthy woman in the world, and she can enjoy the whole luxuries in this world. That's why still narrator is saying that Rosemary Fail was not exactly beautiful. So why she was not exactly beautiful, we have to learn while going through this particular story. When the story begins, Rosemary is in the shop in the Curzon Street, considering buying a little box from the antique shop she often visited. Antique shop means where we can get antique things. we can historical things that are very much we can say costly and that have been preserved for centuries and centuries. That things are called antique, and she goes to that antique shop to buy that particular box she much liked. And that's why in that period when the story particular story begins, the Rosemary is in the shop is Curzon Street, where she is going. She has gone there to buy a little box from the antique shop she often visited, and she is very much fond of buying antique piece or antique things from that shop. That's why she is a daily visitor to that particular shop, and the price of the box is steep means high. That's why Rosemary requests the shopkeeper to hold it for her, and when she goes there to buy that particular box, but the cost of that particular box is very high, and that's she might not have that much money to buy this particular box, but she requests that shopkeeper that he should hold that box for her. He should not sell that box to anyone else. It means that at that time she had not much money, but after that period or day after tomorrow or tomorrow she will definitely buy that box. This is the tendency. If she likes anything anyhow, at any cost she will purchase. So this is the temperament, we can say. This is the nature of that particular lady we come to know here. She exists, sorry, she exits the shop and in the street bumps into a poor thin girl begging for a change for a cup of tea on the rainy days. These were the rainy days, and when he sees little upset while she has not that much money to buy the antique piece. That's why she requests that shopkeeper to hold that box for her. She will buy that tomorrow or after getting so much money. But when she is little upset while getting up or while getting out from that shop, and she just dash into or bump into a poor thin girl begging for a change. For begging for change means she was just begging 2 penny or 3 penny, or in our Indian rupees as concerned 1 rupees or 2 rupees. She was not begging that much money. She is beg means, you consider what is beg means, भीक मागणे ज्याला आपण म्हणतो. But she was not begging lot of money. She was begging change. Change means little money to buy a cup of tea for herself, because in that period after we observe the physique of that particular lady, we will come to know that that particular lady is poor, thin. She might have even eaten the foods in last 1 or 2 days. That's why she has become so thin and seems so poor and thin. But that particular lady beg a change. Change means very little money to buy a cup of tea. In that rainy days, the Rosemary more curious than sympathetic. Curious means always ready to learn anything, always ready to know each and everything. If we are not we observe the little children when they are just start to speak, when they are just start to see, they just look here and there and try to get information about each and everything. Repeatedly they ask the questions to their mom and dad. What is this, why does this type of the sound is created by that particular creature, or why? Because they are much more curious about the things prevailing in this world. In the same way, if you are not you haven't seen such type of thing before, you are so curious. So as far as the Rosemary is concerned, she is also so curious about that thin and poor lady. Why she is so curious than sympathetic? She is not sympathetic towards that lady, because that lady is not begging too much money. She is only begging a change. Change means very little money, and she is curious because why that particular lady is begging me such few rupees, a very little rupees. She should demand me the lot of money if she want to live like me. Such type of feelings might have been aroused in the mind of Rosemary. But after seeing that, or after encounter with that particular poor lady, she is not sympathetic towards that lady. She is little curious because she doesn't even understand you why how does such type of people are living in this world without any penny, because she never feel that scarcity in her life. Besides, the Rosemary, more curious than sympathetic, decides to invite a girl home for tea, and she might haven't before that seen any beggar, or might haven't been encountered with such type of beggars. That was she is more curious by seeing the appearance of that particular poor lady. That's why she doesn't give any penny to that lady, but just instead of that she invites her to her home to take tea. So is is the poor girl another object that Rosemary feels she can own? Be kind so that she can feel good about herself. Because Rosemary, as far as we will, when we will go through this particular story, we will come to know that Rosemary is very wealthy, very, she has a lot of money, she can enjoy the luxuries in the world. She doesn't even feel the shortness of the money. So but she has enjoyed her life all the days, but she got a chance that that poor lady encounters her and beg her change for buy a tea. She thinks that she should do some generous thing, generosity to that particular lady. That's why she takes that lady to her home. So this is inference that the does Rosemary consider that poor girl a object like the other object she generally buy with the help of money? Whether she feel that particular lady is object she can buy with his money, with her money, and do the good thing for herself, because after doing some good towards that particular poor lady she will feel good at her, whatever may be the reason. But she deliberately, we can forcefully invite and take that lady to her home. Is she making a real life story about her generosity to share in her parties? And we know very well the wealthy people generally arrange the parties and enjoy there and just discuss their generous things. That's why the she may have one examples of how she can be generous towards any poor girl. That's why she forcefully invite this particular lady to her home. Whatever the motive, the driven by hunger, poor girl reluctantly means not easily, just stopping herself, then by force she agrees to come with Rosemary, reluctantly accept the Rosemary's invitation. What happens thereafter reveals the depth of Rosemary's psyche means mental situation. Her insecurity means though she has the lot of money to enjoy, though she has the big house, though she has the husband, she has the cars and vehicles and each and every luxuries in this world, still she feels some insecurities. Why she feels so insecure we will discuss in while going through this particular story. There are three major characters, are played out in a background of the class distinction and social differences. These two issues are also discussed with the help of the stories: class distinction and social differences. There are three major characters in the story: Rosemary, her husband Philip, and Miss Smith, that poor lady, and each one of them deserve a critical attention. So, dear student, the particular story we will to know these all factors that have been discussed in brief in this short introduction. We will try to get each and every aspect while going through this particular story. Okay, thank you. I have sent you PDF of this particular story. You must read it and after that you may be or you will be very able to understand the story. Thank you.